for that election, and
But the meeting never occurred
the meeting was canceled on the 17th because of the
because of the
COVID-19.
virus. And
Right.
because the meeting was canceled, the attorney, says that that's not a valid election because you don't give people the chance to come to that meeting who may have not voted and vote, okay? So what we're doing, as you know, is we're going to a whole new election.
But I would like to say that when you canceled that meeting on the 17th in your email, you told everybody because of COVID-19 it was going to be canceled, and that they should, in order to reach a quorum, they should fax or email or drop off all their ballots. That's in your email.
In this right here, yeah?
No, in a past email.
Well,
when
that's
canceled,
true, but that doesn't change.
Okay.
The fact that there was a quorum that came in by absentee ballot, okay, which is what those would be.
Or dropped off in person.
Or drop out in person, absentee ballot up to till the day of the election.
Correct.
Doesn't change that the meeting was not a valid meeting because it didn't occur, and if you look at state law.
I just did. It's not, the
I'm
statute.
not gonna argue the
No.
attorney's advice.
We're just reading the statute. You copied it to us.
Yeah,
Okay, you
I
copied
did.
it to us.
Yeah, sure.
And we've also got another attorney's opinion that says that that's not the case, is that the meeting can be called any time. So and I was told.
I'm going with the advice from our attorney, okay, and that's what we're going to do. And we're going to, we've got a new election out there, and on June 9th, we're going to have a meeting, whether it's virtual, and we're going to elect.
Why didn't you have a virtual meeting for the previous March election?
Because we weren't prepared to have a virtual meeting. I didn't have the equipment, we weren't prepared. The virus was a whole new thing in our lives.
That's right.
And it's changed how I've purchased equipment since then so that we can do those things appropriately. And now we're ready to do those things, and I've discussed it with the current board.
But the fact that we had the COVID-19 situation should not negate an election that had a quorum and had a.
Well, I'm not going to argue your points.
Okay, well then here will be something that we probably can argue, is that on here, the ballot that was sent out in March, okay, it was only good for that election.
Correct.
Right? You sent out a new ballot that has my name on it. I am not running for the June election. I did not give my permission to run for the June election at all, and my name's on this ballot.
So you don't want to run for the election?
Well, I did not give you my permission to do that. My name's on that ballot.
We were clear we were going to put everybody on the ballot, even when I talked to you.
And I emailed back in that response.
Well, I will address that issue.
I need you
I
to
may need to put back out a ballot without your name on it.
You may need to do that because.
Yeah, I'm glad to do that if that's what I need to do.
Yes.
I was not aware of that.
Well, because we already had a valid election in March. Okay.
Well, I'm not going to argue that.
And now you're having another election. So will we have another election after that one if you don't like the results? And how?
It's got nothing to do with results.
Another question with that, with this new election the new ballot that you sent out. You did not go out to the community and say, does anybody want to run for this election? You just added 2 additional persons, okay?
We did go out and say that.
No.
We did go out. That's where the other people came up.
No one else that I talked to in the community got any kind of communication asking if they wanted to run.
Well, I'll talk to Monica about that.
Okay.
But that's where we got the other names. We didn't just find that those people came to us.
Yes, I know they came to you because I know they were personally contacted. I watched that happen. So you did
No,
not.
that's not true. Mike Chote was not personally contacted, and I know he's on there.
Yes, I know. He lives right near me.
And he was not personally contacted by us.
Not by you.
No.
But
Or
by someone I know.
Well,
Okay.
maybe somebody
Okay.
you know.
But no
true.
one else in the community knew that there was going to be another election that they could possibly run.
I don't know that that's true.
Well,
if that's true, I'll look at that.
I
Because
think-
I'm going to do it the legal way. And the legal way that the attorney says to do it is so that it can't be challenged, it needs to be a new election.
well, it's being challenged right now. This election's being challenged because we already have an election that stands. And what she said, I read her letter, okay?
Whose letter?
The attorney, Beth's letter, okay? And it's very, very, maybe this, maybe that, maybe the other thing. And the ARS 331250 that you both cite, she cites and you cite, does not say that the meeting had to take place right then. It doesn't say that at all. Okay. Nevertheless, you are proceeding the way you want to do it.
We're going to a new election. Our attorney interprets that those would be challenged, could be challenged because, for the reason I said, people did not have an opportunity to come to a meeting to vote.
You sent them an email saying there wasn't going to be a meeting, and in order to ensure a quorum, they needed to either fax, mail,
I did
or
not,
drop off.
when I canceled the ballot, I did not do that.
Shortly thereafter, and I have the copy of the email, so I have copies of all of the emails.
That's fine that you have copies of all the emails, that's great.
I do.
Okay, I think that's terrific.
Okay.
But the reality is we're gonna follow what the attorney said, and that is that we should go and have, the board had two choices, or three choices. One, the board has a choice to stay on until next year, okay? A lot of boards are doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, the board could, because there's two of them that want off, they could appoint people who were on that list, okay?
Yes.
Okay, they could appoint people on that list, and then they could resign if they wanted to, okay? All right, but the whole board doesn't have to resign, okay?
That's correct.
Okay, so they had that choice, or they had a choice to go back to ballot, and that's what they chose.
Well, they told me that the reason why they did that, they said they didn't agree to going back to ballot until they were told that they could no longer go back to the appointment, that you had removed that from the table.
That's not true.
So that's all fibs.
That's not true. That's not true. They've always had that choice.
So they could still do that.
Well, I'd have to see, since we're putting out a ballot now, I'd have to talk to the attorney about that. But that's not been my advice. My advice, time and time again, was you guys can stay until next year. You guys can appoint people to the board off of that.
Well, their terms were up, and
there has not been a meeting for their term to be up.
If
There's
there
not
hasn't
been a meeting for
their
their term.
Well, if there hasn't been a meeting for their term to be up, then why does there have to be a meeting until now for the first election to stand?
The first election doesn't stand because there was not a meeting for their term to end, and for somebody to come to that meeting to vote at the meeting,
But they
which
can
is
do it now.
required.
They can go and do that now. The first election can stand because
well, that's the way you want to interpret it.
But it's the way you're interpreting it. But
no,
you're saying that
I'm doing what the attorney has advised, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. Okay? There's 7 candidates. There were only 5 before, something like that. And I didn't go to anybody and say you ought to run, or you ought to run, or you ought to run. Okay?
Right.
So there's 7 candidates, and you're one of those, and you're telling me you don't want to be one.
Because I ran for the first one, and that is concluded. Okay.
But
now I find that there's something not okay happening now because we already had a valid election, and the only thing you're saying that they can. But you're saying that they
didn't have a valid election. That's the point.
Because you're saying that the people who are on the board now are able to stay in their positions.
That's right.
Because they haven't had a meeting to be off of it yet. And even though their terms have expired,
they haven't had a members meeting. The term expires whenever you have the members meeting.
And
that did not occur.
That's right. That's right. But they're able to stay on until the members meeting. But why can't we be at that same meeting inducted into the board?
Because nobody had the ability to vote, and because
they can come to this new meeting and do that.
No. What you keep just going past is I'm going to go on the advice of our attorney. And our attorney says that because that meeting didn't occur, okay, that meeting did not occur, okay, that meeting didn't occur, so the people that would have come to that meeting would have come to that meeting. So
and they can come to this new meeting.
We're going around in circles.
Well,
we're going to have a ballot, we're going to have a vote, we're not just going to take those and assume that that's okay, that there wasn't somebody who missed the ability to vote. That would be the assumption, okay? And we're just going to put those people in place.
Well, you did reach the quorum already, even with those people who missed it.
Doesn't matter. Quorum, it just makes a valid meeting. The meeting didn't occur, so it wasn't a meeting. if the meeting had occurred, those ballots would have made it a quorum for that meeting. That meeting didn't occur. That's the deal.
And the meeting can occur right now, and those same people can
But
bring their
again,
votes to that meeting.
I'm not gonna argue
Well,
in the
there
same
you go.
circle with you,
Well-
okay? Because that's what we're doing, we're going around the same circle, okay? And the
Well,
reality
we're not in the
is,
same circle, we're on totally different circles.
no, you keep coming around to the point of view that you want me to say, okay, we'll just take those
No,
votes
I'm questioning,
and put them on the,
No,
put them on the board.
no, I'm not questioning putting those votes, what I'm questioning is, you had there were enough people who voted, there was a quorum, okay? We know what the results of the meeting were, we know what each individual got,
And we
okay?
also know
Okay.
that it was not a valid meeting.
No, we
because it
only know
didn't
that the
occur.
meeting has not yet taken place because of the coronavirus.
It was
That
not a-
meeting can now
That was
take
not a
place.
valid meeting, and it talks specific to that, to the date, okay? So,
It doesn't speak to that date.
I don't know what you want to hear more from me, Jan,
That
because I've told you.
the original was in
I
was a
don't
ballot.
accept that.
Okay.
I don't accept that.
All right.
I don't accept that based upon my attorney's advice. I don't accept that statement. Okay? It's that simple. Now, if you don't want to be on the board, so you don't want to be, I'm not voting, you may be voting.
But you'll be
in.
counting the votes.
Well, we'll be glad to have a third party do that too. We do that all the time.
I know.
That, be careful of what you accuse me of.
I didn't accuse you of anything.
You came very close.
But I didn't, did I?
No,
There
you
was
came
no-
very close.
Oh,
Okay.
close but no cigar. And
I
close
don't
only,
care either way,
close only
just
counts
don't.
in horseshoes. You should know that you're from Wyoming.
Let's.
I didn't
the
accuse you
banter
of
doesn't
anything.
work. Okay, so the reality is, yes, we've gone out to another election, okay? And my guess is, but I'm gonna talk to my attorney, my guess is if you choose to not be, okay, the votes will happen, you'll get however many votes you'll get. You may or may not have been on the board. Let's say you're one of the 5 people that are on the board, okay, and you decide that now you've decided not to be it, then the next person down will take that position.
But
That'll be my guess, but I have to talk to my
you
attorney.
need to talk to your attorney and say that I want my name off that ballot because I did not agree to be on that ballot and I want it off.
Well, we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
Okay, ballot's out there. I can't run out there and take the ballot.
No, but you can send a new ballot out.
I'm going to talk to my attorney
Right.
about that.
Right.
I may have to
Because-
move the date because of that.
Well, it's
Because there are
possible.
dates, there's 10 days and 30 days, there's dates within that you have to.
Yes,
do.
I read it all.
Well, good.
I read the statute and I feel I
Good.
understand it pretty well. So,
That's fine.
I know, that is
Okay.
fine.
I'm glad to hear what you're saying, that's what you want me to check on, and I will check on it, and I'll let you know what our approach is gonna be. How's that sound?
That sounds
That's
excellent.
the best I can do?
Well, if